So today marks 35 years of Sonic, aka his birthday today. And also today I wanted to also go through down memory lane. For 13 years I have been a Sonic fan. Since I was the age of 4 all the way to now. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool. But today I just mostly want to focus on the journey of how I became a Sonic fan, to what the present today is and what my plans will be for the future of the franchise for me. And yeah, by the time I was filming this video, I've probably also uploaded to my Instagram story because a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, how have you become this? Or have you become that? Or hey, how did you become a Sonic fan?" All these questions about Sonic. I'm like, well, today it'll also be dedicated to them, to those that are watching. That'd be a great story. And I really am, but I mostly want to go through some ground things, like want to be the highlights, not every little Sonic thing I did. I might do that, but it'll mostly be about my 13 years of being a fan, and yeah, so let's get right into it. Alright, to start off, we gotta go back to 2013. It was when I was just starting to become a fan, but that was also when I was becoming a NASCAR fan. But for Sonic, I'd always like to see him on DirecTV, with Sonic Saturn and Adventure Sonic the Hedgehog. My god, I always loved watching them. But I didn't really know about any of his games until one day for my birthday in 2013. I had decided, well, my parents actually decided to go to GameStop to get me a new NASCAR game, NASCAR 2011 specifically. And actually, that was when I found two Sonic games, which with the storybooks, obviously, of Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight. And honestly, it was pretty much a really, really fun idea because I was always saying like, "Oh, mom, can I get this? Can I get this?" She was like, "Fine." So she said I could get 3 games since I mostly owned a Wii back in the day, but it was pretty cool to have my mom, get it for me, both games. And I took it home and I immediately turned them on. I played 10 minutes worth of Secret Rings and 10 minutes worth of Black Knight. And I fell more in love with Secret Rings because it was way more easier to do. This one, I was only 4, so brain wasn't all that. I understand the motion controls and the nunchuck for the Black Knight. Well, I mean, old 2000 games, 07, Secret Rings, 09, Black Knight. But I don't know how to describe the feeling for Secret Rings because I just grinded on the game. In party mode, yeah, I didn't really care about the story, honestly. I didn't really care about the story, to be for real. So it was until my dad was like, "You playing party mode?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "The story?" I was like, "Wait, what?" So I got a reality check from my own dad. And then eventually I did play the story mode, and I missed out on so much peak. And then that's when I fell in love with my favorite Sonic transformation, Dark Sonic, and he will always be my favorite. Like, if he's ever be brought back, I will absolutely, I don't know how to describe it, I will absolutely die of love. That's how much I love the form. It is so peak. But I also do love, what was it? Excalibur Sonic? And dude, that game took me 5 months because the nunchuck, especially on Crystal Cave, happened to avoid the citizens or the aliens because they look like freaking Yoda, honestly. And it took me forever to just beat the game. And then fast forward a year, and then fast forward a month later, Christmas, since my birthday's in November. My parents had got me 3 new games for the Wii because I still owned a Wii back then, and it was kind of Sonic Unleashed for the Wii, Sonic Colors, my first 2010 game, and then Sonic Rider Zero Gravity, which was my favorite game out of the 3 because I always used to play it. And I never cared for the missions, I just cared to beat the game. And I got every single gear, honestly. But I couldn't ever figure out how to get Supersonic, honestly. Or wait, that was before I knew there was Supersonic in the game. Little me did not migrate to YouTube yet. So that'll wait. We gotta wait 2 years for that. And then now, fast forward a year later, 2 years later, in the 2015, I had just gotten, more Sonic games, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing for the Wii. And then I'd also gotten technically Sonic Heroes, but that was at my friend's house. I mean, I hated playing Sonic Heroes at his house because it was so hard to beat. But I mostly enjoy playing Sonic Riders, the first one with him, and I really enjoy playing Shadow the Hedgehog battle mode. It was so funny. Just always sticking it behind him, we was multiplayer screen, because I was such a much better aimer than him. He always gets so mad at me, and it was so funny. But yeah, good times with him. Today, we still talk to each other, but it's just live in different states, so we can't really play anymore. If I were ever to go back to my secondary home state, Illinois, I probably always have to be playing Shadow the Hedgehog all over again. And thankfully, I found Riders, Heroes, and Shadow 05 for the register for the OG Xbox, so I can buy those off of eBay or off of somebody, and I can get those games again and get the grind back, because I've not played those games since 2015. 2016 is the year that popped everything off, honestly. That was for Christmas that year. I got the Xbox One. Yeah, when it had just come out, I think. I don't know, somebody let me know when the thing came out. I'm gonna have to look it up myself, honestly. But around 2016, I got my first Xbox, my first console to myself. And along with that, I got 5 games. I got Cars 2. I got Sonic Transformed, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Generations for the Xbox 360. I didn't care for Cars 2. I mean, I had the Wii version, so I didn't really care for the Xbox version. I gave that one away. Yeah, I missed out on such good graphics. It's so bummer me. But it's $8 on the Xbox now, so I can just go and buy it if I ever want to, go back memory lane again. But for Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, well, let's just call it Sonic Racing Transformed. I'm not gonna say a mouthful like that, but genuinely, for Transformed, that was the number one game I was always playing, Whereas Racing, I felt like I was just such good at racing. I would always be 12, 30 seconds ahead of the competition. Well, I was always on easy mode, so that's the reason why. So I got the expert mode. I'm good at it. I was only finishing 2 seconds ahead, or barely just beat them to the line. And boy, oh boy, that was when I found out about the infamous speedrunners. Yes, the infamous speedrunners I absolutely found out about, and oh my god, was it such peaked, not listen to, not look or not learn from a single video, and I still screwed up, because I was always so jealous. I was how the heck did they do this? How did they do that? What is this nonsense? I was so jealous. I was such a jealous little guy. And it was always funny to watch me being really, really, really jealous. But also, at the time, in 2016, I was when I kind of shat my pants. So that's when I also found out about Sonic EXE. Now, I have to look it up again, but it was the original, Sonic EXE with, the animation, with Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman. I always watch this one guy. I forgot this one guy, but he was a Mario fan, honestly. And he always was watching it, and his reactions always used to make me laugh so hard. It was so funny. I remember playing with it in my head right now. That was a jolly good time. Really, really happy to remember all those memories. But also, that was the year I found out about the YouTubers, mostly in 2017, spring of 2017. The OGs, the very first one, you gotta give it to my boy Cobalt Armani 456. I used to watch I've watched every single Sonic gameplay he's ever done. The one that took me the longest to watch was 100%ly Sonic Heroes. And I just used to quit watching it, and I go back to watching it, and I quit, go back, quit, go back. It was a back and forth process. And it was just, yeah, another one was Philip Fan 77. And yes, that's the Sonic stop motion adventures man. That's the guy that kind of got me this in the animation, you know. He's my inspiration, you know, that's my OG hero, honestly. And it was always so peak, you know, watching it. But then eventually I got just to also notice Sonic Toast. If you know, like I always used to binge watch his Halloween episode because it was just so freaking peak. And I always still want to, when they still binge watch. I'm probably gonna try recreate, you know, as of memories. There's 35 years, but it probably won't be as good because all my stuff is in storage now. But who doesn't know? You can just go out and buy it again. And then that was also when I was trying to get better experience with Sonic Illustration Transformed. The one, like, out of those 5 games for my Christmas presents, I mean, Sonic Generations was like the easiest game for me to beat. I mean, it took me like 3 months to beat. But when I would play it again for Sonic X Shadow Generations, like this year, I know we're way far from the 2020s, but bear with me, please. Thank you. Yeah. But it was always just so funny. Just playing Sonic Generations, and yeah. But this was also around the time I got my very first computer. Since my dad got a new one, he decided to give me his old one. And he got me some Steam games, like both Sonic 4 episodes. He got me, yeah, that was basically it. Those 3 Sonic games, eventually I got Generations. Let me tell you about Sonic 4 Episode 1. That was the only game I was good at back then. I have over 180, 160, about to be 170 hours on the game. I loved it that much. No joke. I loved I have no words to explain. I have no excuse. I was just absolute nerd. I thought this is the peak of Sonic I've ever played. The cheesiest and the easiest, but the most peakest to play. Yeah. And then episode 2, not as much, but half of what it is. And that was also around the time Metal Sonic started to become my favorite character. And he still is today. Metal still is today my favorite character. And I really plan to see him in Sonic movie form. Which I will get to the movies in a second. But technically, I watched the very first Sonic movie. In 2018, I watched Sonic OVA. You know, like the old anime cartoon style. And that one cat girl. I was like, sheesh, she a baddie. Yeah. My very first ever Sonic crush, technically, I'll tell myself here, it was Blaze, you know, from Sonic and the Black Knight. I mean, even though I did play, I didn't really find Amy that pretty. I mean, I found her pretty cute, but I didn't find her as attractive as Blaze, because Blaze was honestly the GOAT. But, yeah. Now we're coming on, like, to the 2020s era. Nothing really much happened with me. I mean, I was getting a lot of Sonic merch, you know. Clothes, bedtime pajamas, jackets, hoodies. I wasn't a hats guy, but I always used to love to get the hats. But the shirts, I always used to overload on the shirts. They're all gone now, but I'm starting to recollect them again. And then action figures, my god, that I collect a lot. And then for the, but a lot of the Sonic plushies, oh my god, I always just used to watch. Oh, another OG dimension is Angry Sonic, genuinely. Angry Sonic back then was just such peak, especially with just popsicle videos. Oh yeah, and then one other's not Sonic, but he used to upload Sonic videos. It was Kija Gaming. Basically, what it was, well, you're seeing a picture of it right now. It was all Grand Theft Auto 4, like Sonic mod clips of just him fighting himself or other Sonic characters, or fighting like completely other cartoon or like other characters, fictional characters. And generally, I saved every one of them. I think it's 130, 140 something, and I have not seen, you know, how much Sonic has won or lost. And it was always so freaking stupid, you know, because I remember this one. attitude of Sonic versus Super Sonic, I was going for regular Sonic. I don't know what was wrong with me. I knew Super was gonna win, honestly, because it's okay. But I honestly think base Sonic. I don't know. I was just a weirdo. I was just a nerd. And this was actually around the time, I didn't mention it, but 2016 was the time I was getting called having a game called Sonic Autism, and I did not take that lightly. And they just had to explain the joke. And when I figured out the whole joke, I felt so bad, and I felt so sorry. So I apologized to them. Eventually, I preferred, them, but I told some of my friends, I don't like Sonic Autism, so call me the Sonic nerd. I like that better. They're like, okay. This was the time I was having to wear glasses, my eyes were getting so bad. But we're not gonna discuss that. Also, around the 20. But also around the 20. I can't remember if it was 16 or 18. It was 18. It was 2018 around that time. I actually started accepting, Sonic Autism, but Sonic Nerd was much better. And everybody back in my class always wants to see what Code Sonic stuff you got. So I always just used to bring one plushie. But my favorite was always, it was either Shadow or Sonic. Or Super Sonic, the heck. But that guy got ripped up due to my old 3 dogs, I miss those guys very much. They passed away some time ago, and pretty sad to lose your dog best friend, but I enjoyed the time I had with them. I got 2 German Shepherds now, and 3 cats, so that's kind of a bit of redemption. I started over from the beginning. But that's not the focus for now. Just a little bit real about my pets. I'll probably have a picture right there of all 5 of them. Yeah, they're just really the goats, especially my cat Reese. That's my baby girl. But anyways, back to Sonic. I'm getting off track. But I'm gonna go off track again. But 2019, I would say I'm trying to explain every year, but some years like 2014 wasn't mentioned because I just did nothing else. Let's sing. Yeah, but 2019, I had gotten Sonic Forces, which I didn't even know was a thing. And then I got Team Sonic Racing, of course. And then I was getting all 2010 games like Lost World. What was another one? I'm trying to mention the best I can. My parents were gonna get Sonic Boom, but I kind of prefer, Cars 3 Driven to win over them. I made the greatest choice of ever not choosing Sonic Boom, but I did make 2 bad choices of choosing Cars 3. Yeah, you can go find it about Cars video games, honestly, somewhere else, because I'm not going to discuss them. Yeah, oh my god, I always used to tell my dad, if they don't get Jimmy Johnson, 7-time NASCAR champion, by the way, a Sonic game, I will be mad by the time he retires. The next thing you know, and I don't know, but it never happened, and I'm kind of pissed about it. But if they did, I would have been squealing my head off. But yeah, it such peak times. Now around the I would say around 2019, I was kind of starting to die out as a Sonic fan because some of the games I was actually like maturing up a little bit in Sonic's, and I was like, these games are getting kind of bland, honestly. I don't know what to do about this. And 2020 is what saved me. Little did I know 2010s was the worst Sonic era to ever be alive in. Genuinely, it was the worst era ever. But I grew up in it. I thought Sonic was peak. I thought Sonic Forces would peak. I know. I was drugged into thinking that. I mean, honestly, Sonic Forces, I would say so. Every one game, it was so bad, but yet it had the most potential Sonic game of the 2010s. This was the game that should have saved us, honestly, from the dark ages of the 2010s. The 2020 was the year, but 2019, the Sonic movie, trailer. I was like, I didn't mind it, but I don't know why I didn't say, ew, what the frick is this? What is this? Genuinely. What the hell was this? I don't know, ugly Sonic. That's what we now call it. It took us. I still can't believe it took us the whole entire studio to say, "Oh wait, oh shoot." They're like, we gotta say this, otherwise gonna get executed by Dawn, burned at the stake." But honestly, I don't know why I didn't mind it. Yes, I was also drug. Something was seriously wrong with young me. Eventually, I love the new changes now. 2020, when it came out in February 14th, Valentine's Day. That's big, like saying like, "Hey, we love you guys. Have this new song." And I got the new lot of cute, like saying this Sonic looks so cute. Just the first one's technically his classic Sonic to me, from how small he was. And when I watched it, 2 months after, because I sadly didn't go see it in theaters because COVID at the time. Yeah, COVID was very, very bad, honestly. But oh my god, do you guys remember Cartoon Beatbox battles? Oh my god, when I watched episode 8 with Mario vs. Sonic, I used to listen to Sonic Solo repeat almost every single day. I used to blare it in my, so he'd be like, "Couldn't you turn that down and listen to some headphones?" So he got me some headphones. I used to blast it on my iPad. Well, on my tablet, because I didn't have an iPad. But you get the point, it's a tablet. It's a square phone, it's big. Yeah, and then when episode 12 came out for the series, I was so mad when he lost, but for the death of the Black Panther actor, I forgot a lot of names. Shiva. But absolutely, big W to him. I was originally from the win, but now with Cartoon Beatbox battles, it's kind of boring, but I did make a new solo for the same guy spent $50,000 on a specific thing. I'm sorry if I had to mention it. I'm sorry. Hearing that song will give me absolutely PTSD when I'm like 40. I kind of listen to it now because I do think that song deserves a second chance. Okay, I'm sorry for suicide for this topic. What am I doing? This feels more of like a life than a Sonic, but I'm mostly trying to stick to the Sonic. But 2022 was the year I got Sonic Forces. No, wait, not Forces, the other one. Sonic Frontiers was the game, I got, and for the next 3 years, I didn't touch it. I don't know why I never touched it. And then with all the other games, this was also about the time I was kind of like going at NASCAR because I didn't like the new Gen 7. But I found myself back to it 2 years later. And 2 years later, in 2024, Sonic, I was still a Sonic fan, but I wasn't just feeling the same excitement anymore. I was excited to see the movie in 2020 when I went to go see it in person. And oh my god, was it so peak. And then the Sonic movie 3, that was so freaking amazing to see. It was like a Christmas movie. It was so peak. Nothing really happened in 2023. Yeah, but mostly in 2023. Like if you read my 1 year anniversary thing, with Sonic Generation Transformed, I was technically figuring out the speedrun ideas. The only one I wasn't getting was Team Sonic Racing. I always saw it, but I never understood it. And Sonic Riders, I finally got Super Sonic by then, so I'm finally thankful to get him. YouTube is what helped me, and to get through some of the missions, because oh my god, I would have absolutely thrown the Nintendo Cube controller, the GameCube controller, at the TV. I remember one time. Yeah, but I remember I was playing a Sonic Generation Transform with my sister, and I got so mad at it, I slammed the controller on the ground. It cracked, but it didn't stop working, and I had to repay for a new one. So yeah, thankfully, I got to do some heavy chores around the house. I was able to re-get it, and yeah, I like a cool blue controller because I wanted to match the Sonic thing. There's a wired Sonic controller out there, so somebody can somebody please get that for me? I would genuinely pay you. I would genuinely do anything to get that controller. Please and thank you. But anyways, 2024 is when I really started popping off in Sonic again. I got Sonic And during the Christmas, again, most of my stuff for Sonic, I got a lot about Christmas. Yeah. And then I forgot to mention, but in 2018, I got a Sonic Mania. And then for Sonic Superstars, yeah, Superstars never came with that final boss, genuinely in 2023. And then for Sonic Mania, it took me like 4 months to beat the game. And the Encore, I couldn't understand anything, so I never beat the Encore. I'm going to eventually. I'm going to beat the Encore version, but it will take time to beat the Encore version, genuinely. Generally take me a few times to beat the Encore version. But as of today, for 2024, this is technically the present Shadow Generations. Like I said at the beginning, a little while earlier, I was talking about Generations, and I beat Sonic Generations in the whole 30 minutes. Shadow Generations, the full, like all of Shadow's new moves and everything, that took me 6 hours to beat. But 2025 was no different. Sonic Racing Cross was coming out. I didn't really care for it, honestly. I didn't really care to get a race. The hype was there, but generally, it wasn't there. No peak contender, no nothing. That was just whatever. I didn't buy it. Eventually, it was until my dad gave my sister his old PS4, and then from there, I did eventually get to play Racing Cross Worlds. So yeah, that was genuine peak. And then finally, in 2025, I finally played Sonic Frontiers, and that took me only 2 weeks to beat, so I was like, I really missed out on 3 years of this. I felt so disappointed in myself. And I also missed the renaissance I was literally missing the renaissance, of the game. But also, on Steam, I forgot to also mention, on my Steam accounts, I got in both Sonic Adventures, one DX Director's Cut and Sonic Adventure 2. And oh my god, was it so peak playing those two. Sonic Adventure, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's the better adventure game. But whoever thought of those Big the Cats fishing levels, I will find you and I will hunt you down. Just to say, come on, man. But then I can't do nothing about it. If I was alive back then ago, in 1998, I would have genuinely said something like that on the Sonic Facebook website. Like that old Sonic website, from the libraries and stuff. I don't know, from internet. Oh my gosh. But here now, today, 2026, Sonic's 35th. Throughout the years, I've gotten a lot of cool collectibles, merchandise, as to clothing, sandals I had. And now, we're going to talk about the plans, for the future. Let's just say 5 years from now, from the 40th anniversary. To be fair, from how old I am, I'm 16, I'll probably be around, mostly it's just to when he hits his 65th or his 70th birthday, honestly. I think I'll be around for that long, but who knows. But if nothing ever happens, I'll probably be around all the way until this man's almost 100 years old. Genuinely. So it'll be really, really amazing, to hit that milestone. Honestly. But in the future, I'm gonna continue with Sonic and stuff. Yeah, but I also wanted to give a shout out to, to you viewers watching. Because I've even had some, friends online, say that, once you become a Sonic fan, or how this happened. So this video, they're subscribed to me, so this is my story of Sonic the Hedgehog and how it been. And for my friends, since I posted this on my Instagram story, if you watch this all the way to the end, I thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed my journey and my story from this hedgehog. And if you want to leave a comment, you can leave a comment down, say who you are, something like that, and just say, you like the story. And genuinely, I'm not gonna post it on my Instagram, just know I did post it on there. To everybody, if you wanted to see my journey of Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, but My journey now is here. It's like the present day, only to focus on here. It's like Sonic and Sonic Wars. He only focuses, he's the present, he only focuses on the future, on today. Doesn't matter what happened tomorrow. So, today's a mystery, tomorrow is a gift, and the past is learned from. So, I just want to thank, say that, mostly Sonic Team, mostly the Sonic. You changed my life. Ever since if I never gave a crap for the shows, but the shows, I watched every one of them. Sonic Saturn, Underground, Boom. Boom is the best show. Like, the games no, but the show is up. Genuinely. And I will also admit, in 2023, when I was getting into Smash Bros., I would always binge play Sonic and Mr. Game & Watch. Don't judge me for Mr. Game & Watch, okay? I just liked him. But Sonic, that was just peak, But also, this journey for Sonic has been incredible to me. And I know I'm something like broken record saying thank you, but I really mean it. And for 13 years of Sonic, this is just an incredible milestone. I'm probably not gonna do anything for his 36. Sega doesn't really do anything until 5 years later. That's the whole point. And usually on Instagram, I usually post like a Sonic merch, but that isn't gonna happen. Today it's a more special. With all of my memories with the Hedgehog. And hey, this is Arcade the Gamer. This is my journey, Sonic. Thank you so much for watching. And next video will be in 3 days for the Roblox Dueling Ground update. And I'll see you then. Anyways, peace out.